All right, so we're moving on to comparing properties of functions. So we're going to be given a function and then a different function, and we'll have to compare some properties of them. So functions can be represented by a table, graph, equation, or words. You can compare two functions represented in different forms. So you might have one in a table, you might have one in an equation. Generally, we compare their constant rate of change, aka their slope, which we call m, and y equals mx plus b. So number one says a zebra's main predator is a lion. Lions can run at a speed of 53 feet per second over short distances. So a lion is 53. The graph at the right shows the speed of a zebra. Compare their speeds. Well, in 1 second, or in short distances, per second. So in 1 second, how fast can a zebra run? 59. Compare their speeds. A zebra runs at 59 feet per second, and a lion runs at 53 feet per second over a short distance. And I think the zebra could probably run farther. But we were comparing their slopes, or their constant rate of change. Here we're given words, here we're given a graph. You could have also done 59 to 118, 118 to 236, 236 to 472. Could have done the constant rate of change there. Or the slope, draw a triangle. Just depends on what's most efficient. A certain car has a gas mileage of 22 miles per gallon. There's our M, our slope, our constant rate of change. The gas mileage of a certain sports utility vehicle is represented by the function shown in the graph. Compare their gas mileage. Well, if this one's 22 miles per gallon, that's its slope. This one's what per gallon? 19. So the car has better gas mileage than the sport utility vehicle, S than the SUV, because 22 is greater than 19. So some way to say that. And by golly, we wrote a sentence in math. It's okay. Here, a little different. The function m equals 140h, where m is the miles traveled in hours. Here's our slope, remember? Or y, this is y equals mx. Where m is the miles traveled in h hours, represents the speed of the first Japanese high-speed train. The speed of a high-speed train operating today in China is shown in the table. Assume the relationship is linear, so we get to know that this goes up in a straight line. So I'm going to label this Japan and China. So Japan's constant rate of change, or their slope, is 140 miles per hour. Let's look here. We could do our constant rate of change, but look at this. It tells us in 1 hour, or per hour, in China, it's 217 miles per hour. So assume the relationship between... Oh, well, I guess we don't have to do a whole lot. But China, if they were asking us, has a greater speed. If you ride each train for 5 hours, how far will you travel on each? Well, if this is 1 hour for each, what do we need to do with both of them to figure out for 5 hours for each? Multiply them by 5. So 140 times 5 and 217 times 5 hours. 140 times 5 is 700 miles in 5 hours. So I'm just write 700 miles because we know it's in 5 hours. 217 times 5 is 1,085 miles in 5 hours. So I'm just going to write miles because that's what 5 hours. So just make sure you read the question to figure out exactly what we need as an answer. Remember, recall, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, or when x is 0. So 0, y. Remember, this is the letter b. Y equals mx plus b. We're practicing some with the slope. This one's going to make us go a little farther. The number of new movies a store receives can be represented by the function, here we go, m equals 7w plus 2, where m represents the number of movies and w represents the number of weeks. The number of games at the same store is shown on the table. So this is movies, and this is games. So this has one equation, this one has a different equation. Let's find the slope of this one. Looks like it is 3, 3, 1, 1, so slope is m. The m is 3 for this one. Well, what would be the y-intercept? At week 0, how many would they have, how many games would they have? 0, because we haven't even started considering that. So this one, compare the functions y-intercepts and rates of change. So their slopes and their y-intercepts. So let's go here and kind of split this down the middle. We're talking about movies, and we're talking about games. So the movies get 7 per week for their rate of change. 7 movies per week. The games is 3 games per week. That's their slope. What did the movies start with? The y-intercept. 2 movies to start. How many games did we start with? 0. Because there is no y-intercept. Figure that out right there. How many new movies and games will the store have in week 6? So if we had to write an equation for this, this would be y equals 3x. How many new movies? Movies is equal to 7w plus 2. And games, which we would use y equals, we could use g. G equals 3x. So plug in 6 for both. So movies would be equal to 42 plus 2, 44. And 3 times 6 is 18. 44 movies, 18 games. There we go. All right, we're going to see some more. We have to practice the y-intercept and slope. Mandy and Sarah each have a membership to the gym. Mandy's membership represented by this function. So M is 3 and B is 29. Where X represents the hours with a trainer and Y represents the cost. So the cost of Sarah's membership is shown in the graph. So if you look here, it's helping us out right there. They're telling us that it crosses the y-axis at 39. So if we had to write an equation, y equals, we need to figure out the slope here. Goes from 0.39 to 4.51. So from 39 to 51, that's a 12 increase in the y. From 0 to 4, that's a 4 increase. Y over x, that's 3. So we would have 3x plus, here would be 39. So this m is 3, and this b is 39. Compare the y-intercepts and rates of change for Mandy. Oh, who's this? Mandy. And then for Sarah. Mandy, her m is 3, or $3 per hour. And B is 29, or probably $29 startup fee. You could say initial fee. Sarah, we're going to do the same thing. We already found that her slope is $3 per hour with a trainer. And her B is probably a $39 sign-in fee. What will be the total cost for Mandy and Sarah if they each have 4 hours with a trainer? So, well, for Mandy, it's going to be 3 times 4 plus 29. And for Sarah, it's going to be 3 times 4 plus 39. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus 29 is 41. And this one would be $10 more than that. So 51. I'd rather be Mandy. All right, moving on over here. Lorena's mother needs to rent a truck to move some furniture. The cost to rent a truck from 2 different companies is shown in the table and graph. Which company should she use to rent the truck for 40 miles? So, I wrote a little hint here. Sometimes you may need to extend a line so that it crosses the y-axis. Reverse the table, or go backwards, and create the equation. The method you choose will depend on the information you're given, because it just kind of depends. So in this one, we've got to figure out the m and the b. So, looks like it crosses the y-axis. I don't know for sure. But we do know that our slope goes from, it rises from 35 to 45, so that's 10, and it runs from 10 to 30, that's 20. So y over x, this m is 10 over 20, or 1/2. I don't know for sure that the b is 30, because I can't tell if I zoom in, so when in doubt, I can use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 to get my y-intercept. So I'm going to use this ordered pair. Y minus 35 equals 1/2 times x minus 10. Y minus 35 equals 1/2 x minus 5. Add the 35. And y equals 1/2 x plus 30, which I guess it was 30. So that's nice. So now Ron's rentals, to figure out his slope, we can go here. Let's see, 25 to 50 to 75, that's 25. And this is 10, so y over x, the cost over 10. 25 over 10 equals 2.5. So this m is 2.5 or 2.5. And let's see if I just reverse the table. If I go back 10, I'd be at 0. And I want to know when I'm at 0, and I have to go back 25, so I'd be at 0, 0. So his is 2.5x. So now I need to know what it costs for 40 miles. So I shouldn't have boxed this equation. So I'm just going to plug in y equals 1/2 times 40 plus 30. Half of 40 is 20, plus 30 is 50 bucks for crosstown movers. For Ron, we put 2.5 times 40. 2 times 40 is 80, plus half of that is 100. So we get $100 for Ron's rentals. So which one would you rather go 40 miles in? Definitely crosstown movers. Way cheaper. One more like that and then we're done. Carol's profit at a craft fair is represented by the function blah blah blah, where P equals the profit and B is the number of bracelets she sells. So for Carol, her M is 5 and her B is -15. So I would think that she would sell $5 per bracelet, and she's started at -15, so she's already in the hole. And this person charges, so $5 per bracelet, because this is also 5. And if we go back to figure out what she sold but has 0, we would go back 5, so it's 0, 0. This person's equation is y equals 5x. So her M is 5, and her B is 0. She starts at $0. Compare the y-intercepts. So for Carol, -15. For, who's this one? Kate, it's 0. And that'd be -$15 and $0. For their M for Carol, it would be $5 per bracelet. And that's also for Kate. So I'm just going to write an arrow. How much will each girl make if she sells 30 bracelets? So Carol, P equals 5 times 30 minus 15. Sarah, or Kate, I mean, Kate is just 5 times 30. So 5 times 30 is 150. Kate makes 150 bucks. Carol makes 150 minus 15, $135, but she started out in the hole. So this lesson is all about being able to compare two different functions, or comparing y-intercepts to other y-intercepts and slopes to other slopes. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Have a great day.